earliest memories is actually being in the dining room, and I couldn't see the top of the tables. I was that little, and I remember looking up at my dad, and he had the prints spread out, and he was doing his list for hoisting steel. On this big project he was on, because there's a certain sequence that you have to go through, and so Dad was doing that, and I remember I couldn't figure out what he was doing, so he finally picked me up, put me up on his knee. And I guess that was the beginning of it.
You know, when I was first starting out, there was a superintendent named Jack that I learned a lot from, watching him in the field. Learned to, how did he put it, don't just watch the subcontractors, get in there and understand what they're doing.
I worked on a project right after the Northridge earthquake where Jeff Hoops was our operations manager down here, and we had a client that we were hired to shore up a structure that was red tanked, and the building. I went up with my crew of laborers to shore up this I believe it was a 6-story office building. Somebody involved with the building had some kind of a negative experience with Swinerton. And I called Jeff on the weekend, I think it was a Sunday, and I was at work, and I called him, told him what was happening. He's the only person I could get a hold of, and he drove on a Sunday, afternoon, right from his home out there, while this gentleman was still there. Had a talk with him, and got this person turned around, where we ended up he was somehow instrumental with the next project or the next phase of that building, and we ended up getting a repeat job. And it turned a very negative situation into something positive. So I appreciated his drive and determination to come out on a Sunday just for somebody that was saying negative things out of turn.
The one mentor I had, and this was in the mining industry, and we're underground over 3,000 feet. And I'm a nervous wreck. And he just looked at me calmly, said, "You're stronger than you think." And those words have carried me through the rest of my career, not just career, but my life.
The time I put door protection on the doors throughout a 16-story high-rise, so there was probably 160 to 200 doors, all pre-finished mahogany doors, beautiful doors, and we had to hang them early and we had to protect them. So I thought I was being pretty innovative, and I figured out a way that I thought I could protect them so they would never get damaged. Well, 6 months later, when we went to remove the protection, I did more damage than good, and it was tough. I had to go down and tell him about this problem. He just looked at me and he said, "Well, go figure out how to get it off with as least damage as possible, and then we'll analyze it and figure out how we're going to fix it from there." And I expected to get fired. Actually, the PM wanted to fire me for it, but he understood, and I recognized that he recognized I was doing my due diligence, but it was a mistake, and I'm going to have to fix my mistake. So we got all the protection off, actually figured out a way to do it. We tried dry ice, we tried blow dryers. That worked the best. Blow dryers softened the glue up, so we were able to get it off and then clean the glue off with lacquer. But we still had some damage, so then we had to figure out how to restore these doors, and we did.
Mike Dustin had a great sense of humor. He liked comedy. He loved the Far Side. He had the daily Far Side calendar when they had it. We were on a Corps of Engineer job, and one of the comics was a dinosaur speaking at a dinosaur convention saying, "Doesn't look good, the Earth's climate's changing, and we've all got the brain the size of a walnut." And he put the Corps of Engineer logo on the podium and put it up on the wall. And the Corps of Engineer guys all got a kick. So he was always doing humorous things like that.
Early on the project, we had staff meetings, and Terry was so excited about his team that was in front of him at the table that He said that there's nothing that this team couldn't build, and that stuck with me throughout the years. Reflecting on the project, it was very successful, and we ended up doing 3 other projects for Visa down in Foster City. The one thing that stuck in my mind again was he said that we had issues, things came through the door, that we were here minding the store. We were always here minding the store, taking care of whatever came through that door.
One day we happened to be walking a job site in Long Beach, and the iron workers were nailing down the deck, and it just seemed so funny to me because I didn't understand the process, and I wanted to ask a question, but I was a little bit hesitant to do so. And he said, "I can see that you have a question. Why don't you just ask it?" And I said, "Well, I don't want to feel stupid." And he said, if nobody asked a stupid question, then there wouldn't be any answers in the world.
One particular situation where it was tense, things were grim. I mean, it was really tough job. Okay, and we got together and the division manager basically sat everybody down and said, "Okay, what are we doing about this? What are we doing about this? What are we doing this?" And he just all of a sudden he goes, "Guys, remember, this is supposed to be fun. There are easier ways to make a living than what we do. So we choose to do this, and we might as well make it fun." So, and it just lightened the load. I mean, nobody took it as, "Hey, it doesn't matter. These difficult things, we can wash them away." But that we can't allow ourselves to get drawn down and drugged down by the weight of those problems. And he was right. He was right. All of those terrible, difficult jobs that you're working on, at some point, you're going to finish those, and you're going to look back and you're going to go, "That was cool."